Abiding fam, this month we are setting up May, but first I wanted to do a little recap of April and give a shout out to those of you who used the hashtag #MyAbidingJournal and tried their hand at our Dreamcatcher theme. They looked so great, and I highly encourage you to do the same in May if you're interested. Just use the hashtag #MyAbidingJournal or AbidingFam, and you might be featured in next month's video. So this month I am doing the theme of cherry blossoms, which I know is very common, but it's just so iconic for the month I couldn't help myself. So that's going to be my theme for this month. And this month I'm keeping it super simple with just pens. I didn't have a whole ton of time to devote to my spreads this month, but I still wanted to have something, one, to show you guys, and two, for me to be able to use throughout the month. So I tried to keep the time that I committed to it down, which hopefully will be good for you guys, because I know a lot of us don't always have hours upon hours to spend in our bullet journals, even if we wish that was the case. So here I am creating my cover page, and you can see that I am just taking off with that cherry blossom theme. I used my Tombow pens to doodle the flowers, and then it went in with my Micron pen to outline them. And I feel like this is a really great way to do it because it makes you more free. So if you start with the color first and just kind of plop it down in the general shape of what a flower might be, it makes you much more loose, and then you can go in with your pen and fill in where those lines kind of might be. So if you're struggling with being too precise in your drawing, that's a good way to try it out instead. Then I went in and did this big M. I just did it first in pencil, and now you can see I'm filling it in with my Tombows and doing kind of a blended effect with these different pinks, and then using the white blender pen to blend out those shades into one another. And I grabbed the brown pen that I had used for the branch and outlined the M and created kind of a drop shadow effect by doing a thicker stroke just on the left side of the M. So wherever the side that would be on the left, that would kind of get a shadow as if the light was coming from the right, if that makes sense. And then I wrote May at the bottom in a fun little bouncy font, and I felt like it needed to be a little darker, so I went in and did my downstrokes a little thicker. Drink a little tea, and then it was back to work, so I just did a little drop shadow again, this time with the pink. Now I'm going into my month at a glance, creating another cherry blossom branch. I was a little upset with the way this one turned out because it kind of ended up looking like a very sad tree because I was doing it vertically rather than like a branch, and I kept trying to fix it, and I think I just kept making it worse, but isn't that the way things go? But that's okay. This just goes to show that we are not perfect, and even those who you might admire and think always create the most beautiful spreads mess up too, and you're not going to have every month be your favorite month. And so give yourself grace and accept that and know that it's not about perfection, it's about progress, and ultimately the bullet journal is about productivity, not the prettiness, though we do of course love that aspect. So I just went ahead and wrote May as a title, and then unfortunately my camera died, as you're gonna see in a second, so you didn't see the last little bit where I added the month at a glance across May, as you can see there on the left, and then I just wrote down the dates down the side and wrote next month at the bottom. And so this is just a really simple way to set up your calendar when you don't have as much going on that month. Then I went to a habit tracker, and I went back to a more simpler habit tracker just for time's sake, though I did love my habit tracker from last month. It was a Dreamcatcher. If you didn't see it, I highly recommend you go check it out. Probably my most creative habit tracker yet. But alas, this time we are going back to the basics and just doing the vertical column with the dates and the horizontal column with the different habits I want to keep track of this month. And this month I'm going to really try to keep track of a lot more than my normal. So as you can see, I have quite a few there. And in order to make sure that I actually put the marks to check off the habits where I need to put them, I did these little vertical lines so I know that the pink is where the habit is, because sometimes I mess up filling it in if I don't have some kind of indicator. Now I decided to do a different kind of spread. So you can see I'm creating the outline of a tree. Once again, not my best work. I was rushing through this, as I said earlier, but I think it'll look cute at the end because the idea here is that I'm creating a gratitude tree. And so my plan is that whenever something happens that I'm very grateful for this month, I'm going to put a little blossom on the tree. So I'm not sure yet what the blossoms will be, if I'm going to use stickers or paper or what it is yet. Maybe I'll create a printable with flowers and kind of, that might be a good idea. Maybe I'll do that for Patreon. I just thought of that. So I might create a printable of a tree and then have flowers that I cut out to stick on it. But anytime something happens that I'm super grateful for, I'm going to add a blossom to the tree. And then on the right, I will write down kind of the highlights of the things that I'm grateful for that those blossoms represent. So I just went ahead and did some hand lettering of gratitude tree, and then I did some monoline lettering, which is basically just normal lettering. That means that there's not a thicker downstroke. That's what monoline means. So I went ahead and wrote, each blossom is a reminder of the many blessings in my life. And I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but I meant to tell you that I am doing my bullet journal this month outside, which is why you're seeing a lot more shadows and everything. But I just thought it would be fun to take advantage of the beautiful weather and go outside, so that's what I did. Hopefully the sun and shadows doesn't bother you too much with the light differences, but I think ultimately it turned out okay. And so then my last spread here is just a weekly. And this is probably one of the simplest weeklies you will ever see, but if you have a week that you don't have a lot of time to prepare, just write this week at the top and then the days of the week down the side in horizontal boxes. And then my camera cut off, but you can see here that I went ahead and added in the black in this week and then used my number stencil linked down below to write the days of the week. And that concludes this month. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it gave you some inspiration, especially if you don't have a whole ton of time this month to be devoting to planning out your bullet journal. These are just some really quick, easy spreads. Altogether, these took me about 40 minutes, and that was with doing camera work and stuff, so if I wasn't trying to do all that, it probably would have taken me about 30 minutes to get through all of these entries. So I hope you liked it, and I hope you have an amazing month of May. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like this video and subscribe if you're not already. See you next time. Bye!